Hello everybody, this is Trollforce with the first episode of Amnesia and Machine for Pigs Explained. We're going to cover all I need to know about the Oswald mansion. Now let's get into this video. This game starts the trend where fictional games titles begin with quotes.
Daddy, please don't kill me.
We are then presented with an image at the end of the game. Right off the bat, this game borrows a lot of assets from the previous game because it was originally meant to be a mod, so I'm not really going to comment on Dark Descent assets a whole lot. The first note is about the fever Mantis has, and a little later in the game we see busts of the man described in a note. Inside the drawer we find the first of many pig masks that we'll find throughout the game. They don't really hold much significance to the story, but I believe there are subtle signs for Magnus that the end is coming. They're also believed to be a physical manifestation of the orb, much like the shadow from Dark Descent. Also, the reason for all the doors and drawers being locked up is to avoid problems if the pigmen wander into the mansion.
I held your hand and watched the blood pool between your legs. You lived long enough to see Edwin, but not Enoch. I will take care of them, my love. I promise you this.
When we head into Lily's room, soon after the flashback ends, the pig mask will teleport in various spots around the room.
Papa, this way.
After you head upstairs and enter a room on the right, you hear a loud noise in the attic of the children playing.
There's a bad man coming.
The next note describes Mandus during some troubled times. A man-pig almost had an encounter with his children and he called them inside. Also, the dates in the diaries do not add up, since, spoiler, Edwin and Enoch are dead by February 17th. Either this is an oversight by the devs or Mandus' fever conjuring more hallucinations.
We're hiding, Daddy.
Before you go through the crawl space, if you look to the left, you can see Cradles walking side to side. When you step into the nursery, the pig mask on both sides of the walls disappear. Also, if you linger in the room, you will hear babies crying. This next note tells of Mandus and his family's arrival to the Temple of the Stone Moon. Mandus also has a collection of beautiful and gruesome paintings hanging around the mansion. The symbolism is unclear, since the Dark Descent paintings hang here as well.
You don't mind if I record this, do you? I find it most useful.
Ah, you have one of those wonderful Martinvilles. No, of course not, my dear fellow.
It's my own design, Professor, along with everything you see.
Most useful. You understand, of course, why the Ministry sent me. That they have concerns.
The first photograph is Mandus conversing with a professor. We'll talk more about it later. To the left, we see a wood model of the temple that Mandus took an expedition on, as well as a few sandstone tablets on the other wall. However, these tablets are from the Algerian desert and had nothing to do with the Aztecs. In short, Dark Descent assets. As soon as you go near the fireplace or piano area, a large tremor shakes the mansion and it makes the music stop and the pig mask fall in place of the bust. The bell also tolls 10, which means that it would take Mandus 2 hours to get to the end of the game, which is actually the duration of this game.
Hello?
Precious eagle cactus fruit. Help us.
When you first pick up the phone for the engineer, I, like many others, was very confused about what he said. Precious eagle cactus fruit. At first I thought it was a Morse code or something, but it's not. It's actually the name of the hearts of the captives during Aztec ritual rites. We can see the symbolism later in the game. The engineer is very weak in his condition and he's talking to the heart, or the orb itself. The next note is about Mandus during his time as a struggling butcher. He squandered his family fortune on modern machinery that he couldn't afford, and he takes his anger out on the bank. When you enter the back wall and turn towards the desk, the pig mask appears again, then disappears when you go back into the room, then it reappears when you go back the way you were. This note also briefly explains how the man-pigs are assembled. We now arrive at the back room of the bathroom. Now, I don't know why the Justine sketches are here, but more interesting than that are the photographs on the walls. Mantis has taken pictures of the rich guests that he's had at the mansion before killing them, as well as a couple of topless photos of two women, which one of them was possibly Lily. Also, I'm just gonna say it. Mantis was having himself a good bottle of wine and some well-deserved hanky-panky after a hard day's work, knowing the kind of man he is.
This dawning epoch, this age of reason, an empire grown fat, ripe for the bleeding.
The more you keep going, the more the machine is waking up below you. As you step into the next part of the mansion, you hear a man-pig roar in the distance. The next diary talks about the boys' discovery of the hidden walls, but again the days don't line up. Another tremor shakes the mansion and Oswald recollects about the voice on the phone. We also get a very violent flashback to the dining room slaughter scenes that were prevalent in the mansion. Oswald would host dinner parties to the rich and fatten them up for the machine. Before we activate the phonograph, we hear a machine humming in the distance like a gate closing. It happens after we see the eponymous mask again. This photograph is about Mantis and the professor briefly talking about his accomplishments since coming back from Mexico.
I do understand what you've been through. A lesser man would have crumbled. Yet you have made all of this. Your great factory, your charities. It is a wonder for one man alone.
It will all be made clear, Professor. But first, a drink.
Mandus, do you know me?
Who are you? Where are my children?
Trapped, Mandus. Far below us. The machine is fouled. It is breached. It is flooded. The bulkheads are down. The children are engaged. If you help me, I can help you release them. Restore the power, Mandus. Drain the flooding and restart the great engines.
How? Where should I go? Hello? Hello?
The next phone call tells you of your current objective, to descend into the dark depths and bring the machine back to life. When you step out to the left side of the mansion, you get a brief scene of the children running to where you need to go. This note is about when Mantis was first introduced to the professor and what he thought of them. Also bringing Jack the Ripper into the topic, even though there hasn't been any reported killings by him in 8 years after it was reported. We go behind the bathtub where it looks like vicious bludgeoning took place of the victims that were fed to the machine. Also, if you listen closely, you can hear the quiet moaning of ghosts that you would hear in the dark descent. Not sure if this was intentional, but it's right near where you see the man-pig laying in the room. Oddly enough, your lantern doesn't flicker when you look at it. Almost like the cosmic power that makes it come to life is hibernating. The mask is also laying on the radiator, still watching your every move. We see the chutes and conveyor belts of where the bodies were dumped to be fed into the machine. After turning the valve and getting back out of the bathroom, you see the man-pig run off out of the room and out of the mansion. But oddly enough, the blood trail that leads out of the room leads to the side of the mansion and just ends. It doesn't make sense why this is here since the man-pig didn't go to or from this way.
Hands are bleeding, raw. I scrub and scrub, but the smell will not lift. How can I hold my children with these hands now? How can I kiss them goodnight with lips that have issued such instruction?
This poem seems to be a spin on Hansel and Gretel. The trophy room may suggest how Mandus became very influential outside being a butcher, enjoying hunting clubs and other recreational groups among the rich, which is what brought the professor to him. Out of all the exhibits in this room, the most interesting one is the return of the penumbra spider. If you stand by the desk with the sketches, you can hear scribbling. When you exit the trophy room, you can hear grinding noises by the door on the left. If you interact with it, it slams shut with a roar from the man-pig and it runs off somewhere else. It's probably the same one we encountered earlier.
I am off to market. I will cry all the way home. I will have none. I will have none at all.
He's coming. Come on, Daddy. It's this way.
The secret passage indicates that this is where Mandus would make his quiet escapes from the mansion when the slaughter of the rich took place. When you run straight to the gates, you can see a man-pig running off in the distance, probably to gather more people. Edwin and Enoch are talking about the orb, referring to it as a stone egg, although this flashback never happened and it's just more hallucinations guiding Mandus. Another tremor happens, sending a pipe to come crashing down the stairs to knock Mandus out on the ground. This is Troll Force, and I'll see you all next time. Don't forget to like, comment, share, turn on that bell notification, and subscribe for more videos.